Oh, hey, Internet. Welcome back to another episode of Death Engineering Plays Race into Space. We are picking things up in the fall of 1966, and we are looking forward to seeing what old Carter Walkwright has to say. We had a pretty good last season, uh, able to complete that orbital duration at the end, but we still need to work on our docking. We're going to be working on getting the Apollo up and running and the Saturn V and putting some more money into that lunar lander program here. We're a little behind, but not terrible. So let's see what good old Carter has to say for us.
Good evening. Developments in the news today. The prime contractor for the rocket program will not be able to deliver any rockets for a year. A spokesman for the company would offer no further comment. And that's the news. I'm Carter Walkwright.
Wow, that's not entirely good news. That means not just this season, but next season, an entire year where we cannot purchase any new rockets, and I don't think we have a whole lot in stock. So, let's see what we have here. And then astronauts in the news. Wood has retired to satisfaction with the space program, but that's all. So, okay, let's see what we got here. Fall of 1966, we have that 8 megabucks. We have no missions planned. Go ahead and plan some here. Oh, wow. Suppliers cannot deliver any rockets next turn unless you have some spares. You should not schedule any launches this turn. Okay, let's see. Do we have any in stock? Rockets on hand up here, 0. Okay, we do. We have 2 Titans. Okay, well that's better than nothing. We have 2 Titans, 2 Surveyors. You know, let's go ahead and book 2 Surveyors out to the moon and spend our 8 megabucks on the Surveyor probe here with R&D. Yeah, we know. Ooh, only 2. What do we got here? Okay, gets up by 6%. Well, just 74%. That's not a lot. Well, let's go ahead and schedule. Geez, a good thing we didn't schedule any missions this season. I guess I don't know. That's wild. Okay, so we're gonna go straight to the lunar probe landing here. 2 Type 8s. All right, 2 lunar probe landings. Let's swing by Washington here just to see what's going on. Well, it says we're doing all right. CIA statistics. Okay, wait, no, this is 1. This is 2. So they still got the 2 crew. I don't see them working on any kind of a lander program here, however. Crewed lander, of course. The other probes are just, rocking it. So I don't see them working on a lander. I don't see them working on 3 crew. It's almost as though they're trying to do 2 crew to the moon on that N1, which is an interesting idea. That would be like us doing like a Gemini. If we did Gemini on Apollo, a Gemini on Saturn V, that would be pretty wild. We have our astronauts sitting out here in the waiting room. I guess their moods are still reasonable. That's a good sign. We have nothing going on this year for launches. Let's go ahead and wrap up this turn. What the is this? Is this the end of the game? Manned lunar landing. This is race into space. This is a race to the moon. First crewed landing. No. Is this exactly what I just said? Is this their 2 crew to the moon on an N1? Let's watch this play out. Well, this might be the end of our series. Manned lunar landing. I mean, it is. Otherwise, they wouldn't even be showing us. Yeah, look at that. That's the 2 crew. This is pretty cool footage, though. Yeah, look at that thing. Looks like a cement mixer with some legs glued onto it. Probably what it was. Nevertheless, I think they're winning the game. Well, let's skip ahead here. What do we got? So there's their landing radar. You know, they did do some pretty good probes out here to the moon, so you got to give them credit for that. Manned lunar landing. One crew down, I guess. One crew down and one crew staying up in orbit. Yeah. So they did basically an all-up Gemini lunar orbital rendezvous mission. Yeah. Okay. Ah. Yeah. Back up. Dock, transfer, return, landing. Washcod 16, September 1966. Yeah, September of 1966. Historical manned lunar landing. First on the moon. I'm not gonna try. 2 crew, yeah. A superb victory. The Soviet Union, with its great technological achievement, believes it can win Europe militarily. The Soviet leadership will not back down with its expansionist plans in Africa. Many countries in Asia, Africa, and South America become socialist satellites of the USSR. The United States loses influence in the Third World. The Secretary General recommends you for a seat on the Central Committee. Is that basically saying that I've just been handed over to the Russians? Wow, that's pretty harsh. All right, so instead of being some sort of Soviet spy, I guess, is that what this basically is implying? That I was so bad that the Soviets consider me a hero? Let's use the time machine button and go back to before we purchased the Eagle lander and go back and purchase the Cricket. All right, let's dial that time machine back. Diddly-doo, here we go. Okay, it is fall of 1964. We have landed in our time machine outside the doors of the Space Center, and let's see what Carter Wohlkright had to say to us.
Good evening. Developments in the news today. Senator Kretschmeyer sharply attacked the space program today. Speaking before the Senate, he accused space officials of lavish spending and strongly urged funding cuts.
Yeah.
And that's the news. I'm Carter Wohlkright.
Well, Mr. Kretschmeyer, how do you expect us to win the space race if you cut our funding? How about that? Well, let's go ahead, and this is just before we have purchased the lander program. So we do have some requirements to get off the ground. First of all, we have... what was the mission? We had a lunar flyby scheduled. Titans, yeah, sounds good. And orbital duration, level C. On Gemini, okay. Do we have anybody in training? I'm just kind of getting myself familiar with where we were here at this stage. We do have astronauts in training in the second season. Okay. Are there any missions planned? Yeah, we did. Okay, we have a joint unmanned orbital docking. Joint unmanned orbital docking, second part, and orbital docking. This is kind of a chance to correct a mistake that I made first time through here, because I did not mean to make this joint unmanned orbital docking. So let's take advantage of this opportunity to go back in time and make this a joint manned orbital docking. Okay, so we have Gemini, we have one crew. Looks like we're going to be flying either Young Stafford or Grissom Shepherd. Grissom Shepherd are a seasoned crew. Let's go Young Stafford. And Grissom Shepherd and the backup crew. All right, so we have corrected that mistake we made back here. So we have a manned orbital docking coming up instead of an unmanned orbital docking, and that should be quite interesting. We have to assign this one. Now, the one thing that we did differently was at the beginning of spring of 1965, we purchased the Eagle module. Instead of purchasing the Eagle module next season, we're going to purchase a Cricket module, and we are not going to purchase Apollo. We are not going to purchase Saturn V. We will be purchasing a kicker. We'll look into which kicker we need here, because we're going to be doing a joint manned landing, which will basically send the lander out on its own Saturn. It'll be sending out the lander on its own Titan, and the crew on a separate Titan. That's even more cheaper than the Russians just did. So let's see what happens here. Have our lunar flyby. If I remember correctly, this went okay the first time we played through. Let's kind of skip ahead here. Very nice. Okay, our lunar flyby went off good. Got our 2 prestige on that one. Now, manned lunar pass, we know what they're up to. They've got that 2 crew mission, doing just a flyby and a trip back home again. Manned lunar pass, that's not even an orbital, so that's a free return trajectory. Throw it at the moon and let Isaac Newton bring you home again. That's, I mean, it's a mission, but it's nothing more than a duration mission. Level C, so it's a duration level C. I don't recall if this one came off. I don't think it did, though. I think this one, the crew had sickness and they had to come home early. So let's see how they do. That is not looking good. I don't think clouds in space are a good sign. Fuel or propellant problems. Safety gauge shuts down. Cryogenic stir causes electrical arc. Tank explodes. Explosion causes flash fire. Flight crew killed instantly. Huh. -10. Only -10. Crew all dead in a Mercury flyby for the Soviets. Is that lovely?
Good evening.
Well, you know what? Let's try that again. That means we should have this, yeah, joint orbital docking. Good. Okay. Let's go. Okay, first up was that lunar flyby. Let's go see how this goes here. I think this one came off successfully the first time. Good so far. Alright, planetary activities. Okay, so we got some good photography of the moon again. That's awesome. Okay, next up was that, oh, man, lunar pass. So, you know, we know what they're up to. They've got the N1, which we know how that went in real life. But okay, they've got the N1. They're flying lunar pass missions. So, yeah, that's basically just a duration mission. That's throwing the capsule at the moon in a free return trajectory and letting Isaac Newton make sure he get back home again. That's just a duration mission. That's nothing major. We can catch up to this, but we're not going to do it on Apollo. Yeah, man, lunar pass. Congrats, you made it back home again. We're going to stick with our orbital duration level C. I think the crew had some sickness on this in the first time through here, so we'll just kind of jump ahead, see how it goes. Fantastic. Orbital activity's good. Let's get that duration underway.
Right. You can go ahead with the TV now. We're standing by. Schedule time.
Okay.
You can go ahead with.
All right. Earth to orbit burn. So, you know, already we're kind of looking a little bit better than we were the first time playing through here. So, you know, maybe using the load and going back in time is cheating, but at the same time, using the N1 to get to the moon on a 2 crew capsule is cheating. All right, re-entry going well. Recovery landing, excellent. All right, so we've got duration C, level B. 5 points on that. Carpenter and Glenn are now seasoned astronauts. Okay, well, we're doing pretty good here. We got the Mercury flyby, I think, one over. Sure. Managed to get down to Mercury in one season. We're all very impressed. Spring of 1965. So this is...
Good evening. Developments in the news today.
Oh, yes, it was Borman, and then Glenn has announced retirement because that was his teammate. All right, so... And Shepard announced retirement for family reasons. Interesting, not quite accurate, but close enough. Okay, so first up we have our assemble of the... Alice is at 98%. Sure, I'm going to go with it. We have Gemini on Titan. Perfect. And Gemini on boosted Titan here. I think we need to do a little more research on those boosters because we're going to be leaning on them hard. The boosters are going to be used as basically as our moon rocket. Up to 86% on that, so that's a nice sign. We're going to come back and get into the surveyor here quickly because we know that we need to start focusing on moon photography. But we're going to get our lander here. We're not going to go Eagle. We are going Cricket, and we'll purchase Cricket. And we will go full R&D into it. Now, it was cheaper to purchase than Eagle, but it's more expensive to research because it has more automation, basically one crew, and the computers do the rest. So it requires R&D cost per team 4, which is against the Eagle, which is only 2. So that's a pretty big difference. 52 megabucks left. We've fully R&D'd as much as we can on lander here, the Cricket. We'll save some for next season for R&D on this as well. 5 times 4, 20. So it'll be 12 left next season. We've got the Titan as far as we can. We have 32 left. We have enough to purchase this, but not do any research on it. So it's not really worth it. Probably can go ahead and start thinking about a kicker here. I'm going to do some research before we decide on a kicker. Do some research offline and come back and make that decision on the purchases. We're not in a gigantic rush for that. We need to develop the lander, and we're going to be testing the lander in Earth orbit. Get a lander test underway right now. So we need to do 2600, so 300, so 2600. The rocket here, max payload 12, and yeah, so 2000 is our maximum payload on Titan. So that's going to be a joint manned lunar module test. So let's go ahead and get that scheduled here. Joint manned Earth orbital LM test. Yeah, that'll work. On Gemini, we have just the one crew here. Yeah, definitely Luzma as primary and as backup here, Carpenter Glenn. Okay. Then we got that lunar flyby here. Okay. Pretty sure we'll be able to afford that. If not, we'll delay that lunar flyby. We'll focus on the manned mission. Looking good. Okay. Okay,
Going to drogue early. It's a rocky first. Drogue came out. Drogue is out.
Drogue came out early. That's interesting. But we are still proceeding with our recovery landing. All right, we have achieved joint orbital docking. Our docking module is left in orbit for our next mission. Oh boy, manned lunar orbit. So they've done a lunar pass and a lunar orbit. So they've got the N1 not only pushing them out to the moon, but also giving them a payload to park them in an orbit around the moon. The next step is landing. We pretty much know that already. But we're going to still try to push ahead with our Gemini and joint orbital landing. Okay, here we go. Another duration docking attempt here. No go. Wait, craft out of control. Well, that's not so good. So they didn't even make orbit. All right. Recovery successful, -7 prestige. All right, well, we missed our orbital docking, but we did get one joint orbital docking. I think the Venus flyby.
Good evening. Developments in the news.
Yeah, 50% chance. I do recall this one. And we have our
error,
basic
there's
training
a 50%
graduates. We don't
chance
have
of
a
an ex-
program to go into. Actually, yes, we do. We're going to be using Gemini. Let's just go ahead and we're going to handpick some pilots here. So we definitely want Aldrin, Collins, Cernan, Schweikart. What do we got here? Any unhappy crews? Anyone ready to jump out of the program? No, these guys look pretty happy so far. So we just need 2 flight crews. Assign this crew. And here's our next crew. I can't believe we're not going to be able to afford to do this. Alright. No, we will just delay it. Delay till next season. Okay, got the flyby. Sucks. So we gotta do yeah, that one, and I don't think we've done a level D. Let's go D. Make sure we have some good endurance crew here. We know Grissom and Shepard are good. Level and crossfield. Okay. And that should do it. Got our lunar flyby here.
Launch commit. We have a liftoff.
Well, we continue to gather good data about the moon. Looking away at those prestige points, we're getting close to when they won the last time. I don't know. Yeah, improving in all of America's space programs. Okay. Boosted Titan. Yeah, 98%. Let's just go with it. Even though I'm pretty sure I could lift it up on a boosted Atlas at 85%. Titan's at 98%. Let's go that way. And orbital duration EVA docking. Need the boosted Titan again. Hey, Gemini is only at 84%. Need to throw some money into Gemini R&D here, as we do have that little R&D bonus now. I'm just gonna go with 2. That should probably push us up enough. 85. 1%. That was incredibly lame. Boosters at 87%. We haven't even purchased a surveyor yet, so let's go ahead and get the surveyor purchased and researched. Okay. And do a little more research on our cricket. 50%. Okay. How about manned orbiting lab? Joint manned orbiting lab has 2 rockets, so just gonna have to go with duration. EVA duration. Okay, level E. We had Conrad. And Cernan Collins. Alright, that's all we can afford next year. Okay, here we go. They're getting pretty close to doing that landing. I think it was next season. Quala 66. Alright, here we go. Got our launch. Orbital insertion burn. Power on. Okay, got the L in orbit. Now we get the crew up. Orbit insertion. We're in orbit. We have rendezvoused and docked to our lunar module. LEM not looking so good. We gotta test it. That's why we're here. All systems go. Okay, never mind. Backup system takes over. Fantastic. Oh, thrust test. Also not great.
Go. How do you stand? I go, flag. Roger. Capcom, word go.
Let's just go. All systems go. Minor problem. Electrical control assembly. Repairs are made. Well done, Lusma.
Word no go. Roger. Capcom,
And
word
failed
no
our
go.
docking.
Capcom,
Okay.
word no go.
Just get out and walk over. You'll be okay. Docking attempts failed. Just do an EVA. Get yourself out there. Hike on over to the lander, or from the lander into the Gemini. Alright. And Earth Europe burn. Well, the crew's coming home. The LM did not pass its tests, but we did at least fly a lunar module. Progress we made from last year. And we earned 1 prestige point. Alright. Got our docking mission here. Hardware power on. Docking's not a success. Man, oh man, oh man. We need to really start improving our docking here. This isn't cool.
Surgeon, go. Decom, go. GNC, go. Roger. Capcom, word go.
Looks like we're still going to make a safe recovery and landing. However, wait, Earth orbit burn. Re-entry. There's our recovery landing. Okay, good. Well, we've got a duration D. That's not bad. I wish I'd purchased those rockets. Maybe I did. I did purchase those rockets. Oh, excellent. All right, so we do have the Titan on Gemini ready to go. He did say it's for a year, so that. Let's see here. Is he going to tell me about it? Yeah. My gosh. So I can't even buy rockets next year. So we're just going to leave this empty. Unreal. All right. Do we have any money at all to throw into this? I don't think so. Nah, minimum is 4. All right. How about the Ranger? Nope. Can't afford anything there at all. Oh, it's not the Ranger. This guy. 4. Okay. So we got this 1 megabuck. We're just going to kind of let it burn a hole in our pocket. We have no missions scheduled for next turn. Yeah, I am kind of aware. We do have that orbital duration D. Orbital duration E. All right. Into orbit. Power on. EVA is looking good. Got our duration underway.
Okay, stand by for status check. Booster.
Looking good. Good. And Earth orbit burn. Okay, we have achieved a status E duration. That should, yeah, 5 points. That's brilliant. Okay. Gemini 13. 3-person craft and a manned lunar landing. So you're saying that they flew their 3-person craft on their first mission and did a lunar landing. Come on. That means that was your first attempt to use the LM as well. All right. This is clearly unwinnable because this is the game has decided to cheat its way through because you're not going to do a 3-person craft on your first launch to the moon. And that implies it's the first time that they've used the lunar lander as well. Let's just have a look. We know the LEM they were developing was the 1 crew. Is it the same single crew landing? Yeah, it is. Look at a 3-person craft and a single crew lander. Let's just confirm that. LM pilot EVA. So they flew 3 crew out, landed 1. Wow. It's not even a thing. Oh well. Let's go ahead and let them enjoy their moon EVA. I'm pretty surprised. I'm not sure if we're gonna play this again in the start. maybe different settings. I don't know, but that's utterly ridiculous. I gotta say. You got your red flag. Congratulations. Let's look at all. Here's our history. October 25th of 1966. I find this incredibly unlikely. Even with their massive jump ahead in funding, I just can't see how this is possible. So even with their massive boosts in prestige, I mean, they would have had, you know, massive budgets, but at the same time, they would not have been able to develop it any faster because you could only fly 3 missions a year. I'm calling you shenanigans at this point because they've clearly cheated their way into a win in October 1966 using a 3 crew craft, a single landing on the moon with an N1. This just isn't a thing. But it was fun to play anyway. Thanks a lot for joining Death Engineering Plays Race into Space. Have an awesome day.